Well, bugger if I know how it works. Two fish tanks. First fish tank, like the popular group at high school where everybody's friendly and social and everybody loves to see you. It comes up the top to feed and they all love to make a song and dance about it. With the other tank, I have quiet, hiding, normal fish. Sit at the bottom of the tank, avoid human contact at all possible, and don't come on display. And this tank has a higher density of fish in it. Closer to 30, 40 fish in it, whereas the other one's sitting around 25. They're all happily swimming around and investigating the camera. Yet, when we get to the other tank, they're all quietly swimming around the bottom, avoiding the light, avoiding me. Now, they get fed the same, they're on the same water, so I'm buggered if I know how it works. But anyway, today's video is not about fish, just thought I'd show you some shots. It's about planning, and should you have an aquaponics system, you really might want to put some thought into planning for when you decide to expand. Starting with a small system often works well, but as you expand, you'll end up like this. You have sections of add-ons and sections that you built before, and you're trying to work out how to put it all together. So today's idea is to turn all the original greenhouse that I built, which I bought as a 12-metre unit, and I left a few ribs out of, turn it to match up with the later edition where I decided I would add them on over the new vegetable beds when I extended the garden. So it is going to involve pulling down all that entire shade cloth and turning every single one of those ribs, which I so delightfully decided was a great idea at the time, to text screw each one of those joins together. So I'm going to get back up on the ladder, undo all those tiny little bits of wire that are holding on all those pieces of shade cloth, and pull apart each one of those and turn the entire thing 90 degrees, like I should have done in the first place and put the whole bloody thing up. Anyway, I'll try to do this with minimal disturbance to the system, without hopefully breaking all of these plants. Undo all that netting and remove it off in time for winter so that I can swap it all over to a greenhouse film before we hit our first frost. And hopefully I'll be able to hang on to a longer growing season than what we would normally get. We're down here in southern New South Wales, and our growing season often slows down around this time. Now that I've got all the shade cloth off, I don't have running videos. I'm not that technologically advanced yet, so you're going to have to put up with this. Spreading the shade cloth across the yard to try to fold it up somewhat to make a neat pile so that I can store it somewhere. Boys are helping me out in the garden very reluctantly today. Now, this massive pile is going to have to go into storage somewhere. I have no idea where as yet, but I'll be moving it later. Now, back to pulling down the rib section. Now, the front section I can pull down with legs and drop the whole frame down from the top, which is what you're meant to do. And if I had 4 very strong people, I could possibly pull these legs off from each corner and move the entire greenhouse in one fell go. But as it's just me, and I am a whole of 5 foot tall, I am going to have to pull them down one rib at a time and hopefully turn it and connect the next one up without dropping it on anything. Now I'll run it right out over the edge of the beds here, and hopefully not have to pull each individual section apart. It's going to be frustrating, it's going to take me a lot of time, but there's no time like the present, so they say, so we best be getting stuck into it. I'll just get up that ladder over there. Yes, 4 hours later, and I've moved 4 ribs. That's 1 rib an hour. That's so awesome. Feels awesome. The body feels awesome. Now, I individually pulled each rib apart, like a rib on your body, and turned through the entire section, only managing to lose a sugar melon, a couple of lettuces, a tomato, and knock off a few bits of plumbing. Now, I'm stuck here and it comes down the side of the fence. There's a tree in the way, and I'm going to have to try to squeeze it behind that tree with those ribs there without chopping the tree down. Now I may have to move the dog house back a little bit, sorry boys, but just to cover the edge of the beds. I'm hoping I squeeze it in without all that extra exercise when that final rib goes on like that. Now we're all together, we're all spread out, and within a few days I'll be having some channels and some spring clips coming, hopefully to hold the greenhouse film in place, so that each year when we switch between the shade cloth to the greenhouse film, I'll be able to just unclip it and clip it back on without doing all this rubbish again. Now leave some holes to run up to the solar heater on top of the shed there, which I have a few shots of coming up, as I've had to do some replacing for other things of what not to do when you're doing aquaponics. Last week I installed a new solar heater so I can get one out of the lawn, and stabbed myself with a screwdriver, ripped the hose up the side of the tin, split the tin entirely, which tantrums are always good for, and always show you what not to do with your spare time. So today I'm going to replace that hose, runs up there to the solar heater, with a brand new one. Because of the amount of holes I put in the last hose, I'm going to have to cut sections out of it and only use it for other things. It won't be able to use this complete hose to run up. Now I want to leave the length in it so that if I have to move it to follow the sun, I can. I've added pool noodles along the edge of the hose so that as I'm moving it I won't do the same thing again, and a tap up there so that I can retain water time that the water stays in the solar heater and get the most out of the heating that runs down there directly into the fish tanks. So I'll end today's video with a couple of shots of some good news. We've had a couple of deliveries. Our chickens have laid eggs that have been sitting on for the last 3 weeks, and just when I was about to throw them out, they hatched. And I have 3 little babies, one's behind mum at the moment. 3 little babies running around with mum quite happily, so hopefully we'll have more eggs soon. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe or leave a comment.